everyone, it's Tom Trush from RightWaySolutions.com with another quick writing tip for you. Today I'm going to talk about a questionable technique that keeps prospects reading your marketing materials. Now keep in mind, when I say questionable, it's not that this technique is shady or anything like that. It's more just a play on words, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. Now about 2 years ago, I read a statement that I can't shake from my memory. Every time I put my fingers here on the keyboard, it's like the person that wrote them, he's cast a spell on me, and these words, they just go through my mind. And that person is Joe Sugarman, who's a renowned copywriter, and he's probably most famous for turning the Blue Blocker sunglasses brand into a multi-million-dollar empire. The book that I'm talking about, that where he wrote these words, was called the Ad Week Copywriting Handbook, and he wrote the following axiom. It says, all elements in an advertisement are primarily designed to do one thing and one thing only: get you to read the first sentence of the copy. Now notice, in that axiom, there's no mention of making a sale. All you're trying to do with your marketing or your advertisement, as he references, but you can also apply this to your marketing materials, is just get your prospects to read the first sentence. Now, Joe, he goes on to explain that once prospects get to that first sentence, well, then your objective is to convince them to go on to the second sentence. When your prospects get to the second sentence, then you must convince them to read the third sentence. So by now, you could probably figure out what the goal of the third sentence, fourth sentence, fifth sentence, and so on. It's always just to continue to keep them reading, going on to that next sentence. And he calls this progression the greased slide. Each sentence is just one more step on your prospect's journey to the end of your advertisement or marketing piece. Now, the great thing is that as prospects read further into your marketing piece or your advertisement, it becomes easier to keep them interested. And one of my favorite techniques for getting prospects to that first sentence in a marketing piece or an advertisement is using questions in the headlines. Now, when I say questions in the headlines, I'm probably using a slightly different approach than you might think. In sales, you frequently hear people say that you should always get prospects to agree with you as much as possible and get them to answer as many questions as possible with the word yes. But I kind of feel like this has been used so many times that when people, they start saying yes to all these questions in a series of questions that they're saying yes to, they're starting to recognize it because it's been used so much. It's almost like the person that's asking the questions is disguising their sales pitch. And as a result, people, they'll hear it over and over again, and they'll just tune out. Now, the way that I like to write questions, especially in headlines, is to give a question that can't be answered with a yes or no answer. Now, here's an example. I recently put together a direct mail campaign, and the headline on that campaign was, "Are these common marketing mistakes driving away prospects and bleeding profits from your business?" Now, there is no way, when you see that headline, there's no way that you can get an answer to that question without reading the remaining text, because you want to know what those common marketing mistakes are. And the word "these" tells you that if you continue to read, you're going to find out what those marketing mistakes are and figure out if you're making those same mistakes in your business. And like I said, the key to this headline is the word "these." If you don't use "these" in that headline, it's just a question that you can answer with a yes or no. Are common marketing mistakes driving away prospects and bleeding profits from your business? See, that's something that can be answered with yes or no, and it's almost like, well, you read that question, it's like, well, so what? What are you telling me? There's no reason, there's no incentive to keep on reading. So that's just a quick tip. When you're creating questions for your marketing pieces, your advertisements, don't use the yes or no questions. Everyone's using that. Do something that's a little bit different. Try a question next time that can't be answered with a yes or no question. And to make it easy, you can almost use the same question that I gave you, are these common marketing mistakes driving away prospects and bleeding profits from your business? You can almost use it as a template and see how you can apply that to your own business.